para mas lalo pa nating maunawaan mga kanyusik yung ating talakayan ngayong Tuesday ng umaga. Ayan, mayroon po tayo makakasama sa ating linya ang isa pong professor and political analyst, Sir Amir Solon Sison. Magandang umaga po, Sir Amir.
Ay, magandang umaga po. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sir, pinag-uusapan namin yung mga naging kaganapan kahapon sa Senado at Kamara. So unahin ko na lang siguro, Sir Amil, na itanong sa inyo yung nangyari po yung sa Kamara po kapatungkol po dito kay sa impeachment complaint laban kay BP Sara. Sinisika po na matibag ng mga mambabatas na komisyon kay Batangas Representative Jervil Ruistro patungkol po sa legality ng proseso ng pagdinig ng House Committee on Justice. Una po, Sir Amir, may exact rule po ba sa House na dapat prior pa sa hearing nakolek na ang pieces of evidence para sa impeachment? Kasi sabi po ni Representative Luistro, factual articles later introduced during the hearing pero yung contents consistent naman daw po sa impeachment complaints.
I'm not really aware kung meron talagang previous rules about that. But, you know, the whole point there is that there was sufficient evidence to actually determine that there is a merit in terms of the supposed accusation against the VP. And that's the reason why they were actually able to push it for the eventual voting sa House. And I think we have passed beyond that, the issue of legality or yung issue na the Representative Libiste. Kasi nga, I think we're now proceeding towards the formal acceptance by the Senate yung articles of impeachment. So I think all the brouhaha regarding the issue of the legality of it is now past its due.
Yes, and so it's sensible din po ba, Sir Amir, yung sinabi po ni Representative Luistro na as long as relevant ang naisisiwalat sa pagdinig ay pwedeng magamit ito sa pagdevelop ng impeachment complaint?
I think that's also valid. But I think may credence din naman yung sinasabi ng mga kritiko regarding the basis ng mga accusations. But the mere fact that there was already a motion and there was already a voting regarding the merits of the cases, I think doon tayo talaga papunta And that's the reason why ang pinaka-importante siguro pagtunang pansin is how the Senate will accept the articles of impeachment.
Pero ano po yung kapangyarihan ng plenary resolution, Sir Amir? Kasi ito po yung sinasabing nagpapa-legitimize naman noong pagdinig sa impeachment dahil malinaw na di nila pwedeng gawin ito kapag non-session ang House.
I think kasi there's already a resolution, there was already a voting. I think it has already been decided na talagang merong cause of concern and there's a cause for the actualization of the impeachment. So I think the powers of the plenary is actually based on what the rules are given to them. The powers are given to them. Kaya there's already a voting, nagkaroon ng decision, there's merit on the case, and that's the reason why we will have in the next few weeks an impeachment trial. Yun nga lang, Senado talagang hawa.
Opo. Si 3rd District Davao City Congressman Isidro Ungab ay nagsabing hindi daw po binigyan ng due process si BP Sara na makasagot sa allegations due to the fact na na-execute raw po ang supplemental affidavit ni Ramil Madriaga sa loob ng 26 days after ng filing. At dapat daw, reply first muna ang respondent bago na consolidate ang reklamo. May ganoon bang technicality period? Pero paano po if gaya po ng sinabi ni Representative Luistro na hindi naman sila nakatanggap ng reply in spite of the calls to attend kay BP Sara po na sinasabi na palaging bakante ang upuan, di po ba?
I think to give credit to yung nag-convene ng fact-finding tapos yung the whole process of identifying if there is real merit on the impeachment complaints. I think they give all necessary information and to the office of the Vice President to attend. Kaya nga, diba, the media has been constantly been showing the empty seat that was supposedly reserved for the VP. Pero siguro yung complaints nila is by mere technicality. However, I think the committee was not lacking in terms of sending the invitations in order to give the side of the VP to answer the questions or inquiries. Yun nga lang, they choose not to participate. They even question din nga the legality of everything. But to give credit to the committee, I think they extended great effort to actually reach out to them. Pero yun nga, wala naman daw reply. So they proceeded without her.
Ano po yung overall grade din nyo, Sir Amir, dito po sa pag-handle ng or hearing ng Committee on Justice sa impeachment?
Siguro kung sa scale of 1 to 10, sabihin natin, bigyan natin mga 8. It was not really a pretty, or it was not really a perfect undertaking. But I think they were actually able to a certain degree, present all the possible, to determine rather the merit of the cases that was filed against the VP. Nga lang, mas maganda sana kung nabigyan din ng pagkakataon to everyone to participate in terms of really presenting their side. Kaya para lumalabas na dito, yung VP the Vice President were not really part or were not really open to participate of clearing her side of the issue. Pero yun nga, I think we are now past that issue or that situation na talagang hintayin na lang natin kung ano talagang mangyayari dito sa panag-convene na yung impeachment court sa Senate.
And speaking of Senado, Sir Amir, ito yung sudako ko sa sunod na nangyari kahapon, itong umunoy kudeta sa Senado, no? Sino pong mag-aakala na magpapalit ng liderato ang Senado? Pero anong tingin niyo po dito sa nangyari kahapon, no, sa Senate leadership? Ito po ba ay may kinalaman sa impeachment?
I think may mga agam-agam na dati na there was this push to change the Senate President. May unang lumalabas na si Dolan Regarda daw dapat papalit kay Tito Soto. But anyway, yung nangyari kahapon, although they would like to sabi natin to deny that it's really directly related to the impeachment proceedings, but I guess politically, meron talaga siyang connection kasi nga, if you look at the composition of the 13 senators, tatlo doon ang may issue din na kinaharap dahil nga sa corruption complaints. And of course, nandun si Bato. And at the same time, if you look at the timing and pinagsabay nila sa voting kasi ng House for the determination kung talagang ipaakyat nga sa Senado. And we cannot deny the fact that the timing itself spells huge, parang nangangamoy politika Kaya doon mo makikita na talagang may connection siya, pero hindi siguro 100, pwede na sabihin na meron din mga ibang kadahilanan. But it's clear that the timing itself is a representation that it's a more of a political move.
Bukod doon sa kudeta, Sir Amir, malaking usapan din yung biglaang pagsulpot ni Senador Ronald Bato de la Rosa sa sesyon ng Senado after how many months? Worth it pa po ba yung biglaang pagdalo ni Senador Bato sa sesyon to think na may numbers pa rin ang ngayong majority block kahit hindi po siya nag-attend?
I think it's also a way for him to ensure that I'm not saying that he's going to escape the eventual arrest, pero I think he's also trying to buy some time at least on his part. Kasi nga, mas pag nasa under custody ka ng Senado, mas mabibigyan ka ng panahon to actually prepare. Parang di ba ganyan ginawa nung panahon na nag-issue ng warrant kay former Senator Enrique at kay Bong Revilla. So I think it's also a tactical move for Senator Bato de la Rosa to ensure that at least he will be able to prepare for his impending arrest. So baka nga magkaroon siya ng mas mahabang delay. Lalo-lalo na pag there is an agreement among the senators or most of the senators na they would abide with the decision of the Supreme Court na dapat may katumbas na local issue or acceptance ng warrant ng ICJ sa local courts. So I think Senator Bato was actually trying to buy some time.
Kumbaga, dumalo siya, Sir Amir, no? Parang bumoto siya para matiyak na talagang magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na mapalitan yung Senate leadership, tapos magkaroon din siya ng pagkakataon na mabigyan ng protective custody.
Yes, opo. Kasi yung panahon yun no, under Soto, mukhang ano siya, hindi sa tingin niya, hindi siya sabihin natin susuportahan ng kapwa niya senador. Pero I think what had happened kahapon is it favored well for him. Kaya parang siya yung panalo dito for the short term, of course.
Isa rin yung girian sa pagitan po ng NBI at saka ng Senado, Sir Amir, no, sa nangyari po kahapon. Ito po yung isang sa malaking balita, ang tensyon na nagkahabulan sa pagitan po ni Senador De La Rosa at ng mga agent ng NBI. Sumobra nga po ba ang NBI na pigilan o harangan si Senador Bato para maisilbi po yung ICC warrant?
So certainly siguro dapat binigbigyan muna nila ng they should have given Senator Bato courtesy. At there is this conflicting scenario kasi sabi nga ni Secretary Remulla, as long as na walang nanggaling sa Interpol, the local police cannot issue for execute a warrant. Hindi ko makonect kung ano yung maging basehan ng NBI. Although sabi ng Trillanes, we have a specific law stating that we need to commit with the issuance of international warrants. Pero ewan ko lang kung ano ba talaga ang dapat natin. So kasi pati ako naguguluhan. But if you look at the precedent na nangyari kay former President Duterte, it seems the Supreme Court has decided that there should be a local, paano ba yung term na ginamit nila? There should be the participation of the local court for the official execution of the ICC warrant. Kaya ito nga naging stance ng mga senador, okay, at least yung grupo na was cuddling Senator De La Rosa, and at the same time, it also might reflect what the stance of the DILG. Kaya nga parang unexecutionable daw yung hawak-hawak ni former Senator Trillanes na ICC warrant. Yun ang sabi mismo ni Remulla.
At sinabi naman po ni former LTFRB Chairman na Martin Delgra, ang proseso po ay dapat hindi direktang ICC warrant ang isilbi. Dapat daw po ICC to Interpol, to PCP transnational crime, then to warrant from local court. Kasi hindi naman daw po enforceable ang foreign warrant sa Pilipinas. Ano po ito, Sir Amir? Pwede bang maharap sa reklamo ngayon ng NBI?
It's possible, lalo na talagang parang nangyayari nga, it's more of an interstate issue. Na kung saan na yung mga sinasabi ng iba-ibang departamento, law enforcement departments ng bansa, are saying different things. So it's possible na maging basehan to ng isa sa mga complaints ni Bato. And I think he is already filing a petition sa Supreme Court to remedy the situation. And I think the Supreme Court's action would finalize kung meron ba tayong merit yung issue ng Bato against the NBI.
At yung Senate daw po as an institution, daw po yung pinanghimasukan ng NBI operative, sabi po ni Senador Amy Marcos. Ano pong opinion po ninyo dito, Sir Amir?
Sorry ka medyo naputol mo, sorry po.
Senate as an institution daw po yung pinanghimasukan ng NBI operatives ayon po kay Senador Amy Marcos. Ano pong opinion nyo dito, Sir Amir?
Kasi alam niyo naman natin na the Senate, even the Congress, are supposed to give them a different level of respect coming from different agencies. And I think what the NBI did might have gone overboard kasi pwede naman siguro nilang makipag-coordinate with the Sergeant at Arms or the office of Senator Bato. Pero yun nga, unfortunately, nangyari yung habulan na dapa pa nga si Senator Bato. And to a certain degree, that event, nakuha na pa ng CCTV, may have created this narrative na parang the NBI went overboard. Pero syempre, the NBI would like to say that they're just executing a warrant. Pero ayun nga, dahil nga sa nangyari, I think the best institution that can resolve this is kung anong sasabihin ng Supreme Court sa petition ni Bato. Senator Bato.
Yes. Sa tingin nyo, Sir Amir, mauulit po kaya ang nangyari kay dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte sa kaso naman ni De La Rosa?
Kung susundin tagalan natin yung proper procedure na sinabi nga ni Remulla and yung nabanggit nyo kanina, talagang hindi na siguro mauulit yung very, very heated and controversial arrest ni President Duterte. Siguro, kasi kung nasunod talaga yung procedure, wala din magagawa din sa Senado to actually prevent it. It's more on delaying the inevitable. At the same time, kaya nga siguro pumunta si Senator Bato sa Senado, he's also trying to buy some time. Kasi I think he also realized na kung talagang nasunod yung procedure, talaga ma-arrest siya. But, let's see.
Yes. Bago ka namin bitawan, Sir Amir, no, ihingan na lang po namin kayo ng mensahe po para po sa ating mga tagapakinig.
We need to calm down first. Kasi tingnan po natin kung ano po muna mangyayari talaga dito sa mangyayari sa impeachment court. Kasi nga, mahirap din naman na we would assume that things would go wrong. And hopefully, if the Senate would eventually convene, the truth will actually prevail. Yun naman sinasabi ni Senate President Cayetano na hindi mo nila haharangin yung impeachment court. But in fact, that would be an opportunity for the real truth, quote unquote, to be revealed in the public. So let's wait for the whole process to actually gain traction, and hopefully the real truth would actually would really come out and really end the issue surrounding the Vice President and all the other political issues that were connected to it.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Amir, sa pagbibigay po ng panahon sa amin ngayong umaga.
Thank you din po for the opportunity that to be here.
Yes, thank you po. Nakasama natin mga kanyusik ang professor and political analyst si Sir Amir Solon Sison.